If I had a dollar for every single time the California Department of Justice has leaked my name and address onto the internet, I would have $2, which isn't a lot, but it's kind of weird that it's happened twice. Today, we're talking about how the California Department of Justice released every single CCW holders and most people who have purchased firearms in the state of California's personal identifying information, going beyond the typical race, age, gender, and it actually allowed people to download the names, full names, and addresses of every CCW holder in the state of California, everyone that's ever applied for a CCW, everyone who has ever been denied for a CCW, including their current address. Does that seem right to you? Well, it's exactly what happened. The California Department of Justice the other day put out a notice saying, hey, we're providing a front-end information resource so people can look and determine and look at the stats of who owns firearms, whether it's what race they are, what age they are, that kind of information, what counties have the most gun owners, what counties have the most CCW holders. Interestingly enough, one thing that we learned from there was that San Francisco currently only has 4, I believe, concealed carry permits issued that are active. 4 in all of San Francisco County. Weirdly enough, also, there's some issues on the website. One of those issues was that people were able to simply click a little box and immediately access the names and addresses of every single person who has a CCW in the state of California. I am trying my best to not get too heated while talking about this. I've had basically the whole night to kind of mull this over. This information was brought to my attention last night, and I stayed pretty low-key about it. And it seems as if most other people didn't really catch wind until this morning, which is good, because as of right now, that information is no longer available to download, so it seems. We will see if the DOJ unfixes their mistake by fixing the fixing of the error, if that makes sense. So it seems as if it wasn't intended for this information to be public. Something to keep in mind, though, as a CCW holder in the state of California, something I've dealt with in the past is every once in a while, a journalist will go out and submit a public records acquisition request. I think it's different from a FOIA request to the counties and say, hey, I'd like information regarding your CCW permits. It's how we learned things about the Santa Clara issue with how Santa Clara is currently or previously only giving them out to high-profile individuals. That kind of thing happens. A journalist says, hey, I'd like to know information about who you're issuing to. Typically, when that information is given out, the sheriffs have the discretion, or it appears in the past they had the discretion of including certain identifying information like name and address. Sometimes they would give that information out, though. So it isn't necessarily private information if you have a CCW in the state of California, but this is different. This was, for free, a website that the California Department of Justice and Attorney General Rob Bonta put out on their website, blasted saying, hey, go check this out. And if you were to look at the counties, you could then look at, download the information. It now only allows you to see things like when the permit was issued, the race, the age, and the status, whether it was rejected, denied, approved, that kind of information, basic stats. At one point, you could click a checkbox and it would show additional line items and you could see people's address, including my own. So this is the second time that the California Department of Justice has leaked my personal information. Now, I sent this information over to the Firearms Policy Coalition. I also sent it over to some people that work with Michelle and Associates, the main law firm that represents the California Rifle and Pistol Association. So hopefully they're able to get in contact and get something done about this, because it's an absolute huge breach of personal security. I hope that the people that were able to download copies of this information are not spreading it. I had a lot of people ask me for the list, which is a weird thing to ask. People were asking me to send them the list of everybody's personal information so that they could see if they're on the list. My brother in Christ, why would I spread people's information? I don't even want to be in possession of this list. I don't like that I have it. The only reason I maintained possession of it was so that I could send it to the proper people, like Firearms Policy Coalition and CRPA's lawyers. It's crazy that this is happening. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. If you have any insight, any information, I would love to hear it. If you are, for example, a web developer or any sort of tech data analyst, that kind of thing, and this sort of mistake seems outside the realm of negligence and seems more intentional to you, I would love to hear your input. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace. Now, if you or someone you know works at the California Department of Justice and may or may not have been involved with this in any sort of way, you know what? No, just if you or someone you know works at the California Department of Justice, I think that you should